Oh my god, those shoes are so cute.
June 24th, 2023, 7 Vincennes, Indiana. A gold table knife catches the morning sun, blood still wet on its blade. The weapon lies abandoned in a residential driveway on Audubon Road. Two young boys, no older than 12, stand frozen beside it. Their small hands shake as they point to the knife. "Papa used this to hurt Mama," one whispers to the approaching officers. Behind them, 63-year-old Sterline Antoine waits. Blood stains his shirt. His expression remains blank, almost peaceful. When Vincennes police officer Martinez reads him his rights for the murder of his own daughter, Antoine's response chills everyone present. "Yes, I agree." 30-year-old Sterline Antoine Joseph lies motionless in that same driveway. Multiple stab wounds pierce her body. Her children watch their grandfather select that golden blade from the kitchen sink. They witnessed him end their mother's life because she asked him to watch them while she handled daily responsibilities. How does requesting help with childcare transform a family patriarch into a killer? But how did we get here? Welcome to True Crime Anatomy. Thank you, my amazing subscribers. May your families stay safe wherever they are. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to become part of the family, because we bring you the details the media never reported. Today we examine how a simple request for help became a murder in Vincennes, Indiana. What turns a grandfather's love into lethal rage? Drop a baby emoji in the comments if family arguments over childcare have ever caused tension in your home. As a Haitian immigrant, Sterline grew up watching her mother hustle just to keep food on the table. Her mother, like many Haitian women, bore the weight of two worlds, tradition and survival. There was no room for softness, no space for mistakes. Watching that, Sterline made a silent vow. She would not struggle like this. She would not beg for crumbs. She would not become invisible. She'd shine, succeed, and provide not only for herself but for the people who claimed to love her. And she did. Determined to break from poverty, she earned her degree from Strayer University, picked up a solid HR job at Futaba, then doubled down with her own natural hair and body care beauty line. She added real estate to her hustle across multiple states and built a brand that wasn't just about money. It was about proving that a woman like her, from where she came from, could become untouchable. Then she met Sterline Joseph, a handsome Florida realtor with hustle in his blood and charm in his voice. They got married in 2012. That same year, their first son was born. 2 years later, another son. To the world, they were a glowing Haitian-American power couple. Real estate, kids, vacations, branded t-shirts, coordinated outfits. And Sterline kept it all together with a phone in one hand and a vision board in the other. But success has a shadow, and in this case, it was called expectation. Have you ever made a choice trying to help family that completely backfired? Share your story below. Sterline didn't just build for herself, she built for her family. And when she reached back to bring her father from Haiti to America, it wasn't just an act of love. It was a transaction, a silent one she expected to be repaid in loyalty, service, and respect. Fritzner was 62 when he moved in with his daughter in 2022, a man shaped by tradition, pride, and unspoken rules. In Haiti, fathers were figures of reverence. You didn't talk back. You didn't tell them what to do. You didn't boss them around in their own old age. So when he arrived in Vincennes, Indiana, it wasn't long before he realized he was not entering a home. He was entering a system where his daughter ran everything from the bills to the schedules to the temperature in the damn house. And worse, he wasn't just a guest. He was the full-time childcare. To neighbors and acquaintances, Fritzner seemed like a traditional family man. Respectful, quiet, the kind of elder who commanded respect in Haitian communities. But traditional expectations ran deep in his mind. In his world, men led families, women served, children obeyed without question. What they couldn't see was the anger building inside him every single day. What family members were seeing wasn't the whole picture. And this detail becomes crucial. Sterline had two preteen sons, bright, loud, needy, and busy. They weren't babies that slept all day. They had school schedules, extracurriculars, dentist appointments, sleepovers, growing attitudes, and an endless appetite for snacks, electronics, and Wi-Fi. Sterline and Sterline were often away handling business. Someone needed to be there. That someone became Fritzner. At first he grumbled quietly, maybe even with a little guilt. After all, his daughter had brought him over. He was eating her food, living under her roof, and enjoying the benefits of America without ever applying for a job. But he hadn't come to this country to be a nanny. He came to rest. He came to live. Instead, he found himself folding clothes and yelling about homework. That's where it all went wrong. Because both father and daughter were operating from a place of entitlement. Sterline believed that she had done her part, paid her dues, so she expected things to be handled. If her father needed a reason to feel useful, what better way than caring for his grandsons? But Fritzner didn't see it that way. In his eyes, he was being used, walked over, treated like the help. Every week that passed without a thank you, every weekend they left town without checking in, every eye roll from one of those boys, it all added to the pile. Court documents later revealed his exact words to police. She humiliated me and continually left her children with me. In your culture, how are grandparents expected to help with grandchildren? Share your thoughts below. They argued constantly about nothing and everything. Who left the lights on? Why the boys were so disrespectful? Why the chicken wasn't seasoned right? Why no one listened? Their home became a war zone, a quiet, simmering one where the tension was so thick that even the kids stopped asking questions. The boys weren't clueless. They saw the looks, heard the tone. They knew their mother didn't really like her father, and they knew he didn't respect her authority either. June 2023 was worse than usual. Sterline and Horiel had been back and forth more than ever, traveling to Florida from Indiana, closing deals, checking properties, promoting the business. Fritzner was growing angrier by the day. He told neighbors he felt like a servant, told a friend that if his daughter disrespected him again, he'd lose it, told himself that this wasn't how a man should live, that no child of his had the right to order him around. June 24, 2023 was the final straw. That morning, according to court documents, Sterline asked her father again to watch the boys. No warning, no conversation, just watch them. She and Horiel had plans, business. She didn't even bother to make eye contact. Fritzner didn't respond. He just stood quietly in the kitchen. The boys were getting ready for the day, loud, joking, roughhousing like boys do. The gold table knife sat in its usual spot near the kitchen sink. Ordinary, innocent, ready. In exactly 72 hours, that simple kitchen tool would destroy everything. Saturday, June 24, 2023, 7 a.m. Sterline Antoine Joseph starts her morning routine in the kitchen at 1424 Audubon Road. Coffee brewing. Breakfast for the boys. Another ordinary Saturday that should have been filled with family time and weekend plans. Fritzner Antoine watches his daughter move around their shared kitchen. His anger has reached its breaking point. Court records show he made his choice in those early morning moments. Then Fritzner picked up that gold-handle table knife from the sink. Not a butcher's blade, not a weapon made for death, but a statement piece. A decorative, sharp, flashy utensil. And he waited. When Sterline turned her back, he lunged. He stabbed her repeatedly in the head, neck, and face. He mutilated her out of rage. Her screams echoed through the house. Samuel and Zachary Joseph heard every second of it. They ran. They called for help. By the time police arrived, it was too late. Sterline lay in a pool of blood on the driveway. Her father stood calm, knife still bloodied. Fritzner had done exactly what he promised in his later confession. He flogged his daughter for what he saw as ultimate disrespect. He stabbed her in the back of the head and anywhere else he could. How do you think those children will process this trauma? Share your thoughts respectfully.
Police have identified a woman killed in a stabbing over the weekend in Vincennes. Saturday morning, Vincennes police responded to a report of a woman who had been stabbed on Audubon Road. When police arrived, they found 30-year-old Sterline Antoine Joseph of Vincennes, who had died at the scene. 63-year-old Fritzner Antoine has been charged in murder in this case.
7:02 a.m. Knox County Central Dispatch receives the emergency call. Female bleeding at 1424 Audubon Drive. Vincennes police respond immediately. Officers arrive expecting a medical emergency or accident. Instead, they find a crime scene that makes no immediate sense. Police responded to a home on Audubon Road in Vincennes. An unidentified woman was found deceased at the scene. Two young boys stand nearby, clutching a blood-covered gold knife. They point to the weapon and tell officers the truth that no one wants to hear. Papa used this to hurt Mama. 63-year-old Sterline Antoine waits calmly beside his car. Blood stains his shirt. He shows no emotion, no panic, no attempt to flee. When officers approach him, he tries to retrieve the knife from the children's hands. Officers place Sterline Antoine under arrest for murder. His response becomes evidence that will haunt everyone who hears it. Yes, I agree. But what police don't know yet is how completely this case will solve itself. Most murder investigations take months. This one takes hours. Vincennes police have their killer in custody before 8 a.m. The evidence sits right in front of them. Blood on Fritzner's shirt. The murder weapon handled by child witnesses. A suspect who admits guilt immediately. Knox County Superior Court Judge Brian Johnson signs the search warrant. Police need Fritzner's full confession on record. In his confession, he said she had humiliated him, that she kept leaving the kids with him, that he only meant to discipline her, to flog her, but the knife was already in his hand, so he did it. When they told him he was being arrested for murder, he said simply, "Yes, I agree." No tears, no remorse, just resolve, just entitlement on full display. Police expect complex family secrets, hidden abuse, financial problems, drug involvement. Instead, they get the most shocking motive of all. A father killed his daughter because she asked for help with childcare. What's more shocking? Complex murder plots or simple, senseless motives? Comment below. In February 2025, Fritzner appeared in court. His attorney said very little. There was no trial. He entered a guilty plea and was sentenced on March 31, 2025, to 60 years in prison. Knox County Prosecutor Dirk Carnahan stands before Circuit Court Judge Monica Gilmore. He asks for the maximum sentence. The judge didn't offer comfort. The prosecutor didn't celebrate. As Knox County Prosecutor Dirk Carnahan said, 60 years or 600 years doesn't change their lives. Sometimes there really isn't any justice or closure. Judge Gilmore addresses the courtroom. Members of the victim's family were here today. Seeing the woman's husband, her mother, and other family members today helped make it clear what the limits of our system are. We try every single day to make a difference, but sometimes there really isn't any justice or closure. Remember this name, Judge Monica Gilmore. Her words at sentencing will stay with you. Sterling's children watched their grandfather kill their mother. The trauma is permanent. Those weren't toddlers who'd forget with time. Those were boys entering adolescence, already aware of conflict, already burdened with emotion. They were boys who would never again feel safe in their own home. Boys who lost not just their mother, but their understanding of family, trust, safety. All gone. Her funeral was held in Florida on July 8, 2023. Friends came from multiple states, business partners, customers, past clients. Her mother sat weeping. Horiel held their sons tight. The woman everyone had looked up to, gone in a moment of pure hatred. Gone because she expected too much, or maybe because she wasn't willing to apologize for expecting it. Horiel is now a widower and a single father. The man who built with her now has to explain her death for the rest of his life. Explain that love isn't always enough to save someone, that you can't always predict when bitterness will turn deadly. How should communities better support immigrant families navigating cultural differences? Let's discuss. And Fritzner? He'll rot in a prison cell. Not for snapping, but for building a fire and refusing to put it out. For watching the resentment grow. For refusing to leave when he knew things were past repair. For letting his ego win. This wasn't a murder over a single moment. This was a slow-cooked collapse of a relationship built on mutual disrespect. Sterling thought her success gave her the right to demand help. Fritzner thought his title as father gave him the right to be above it. Neither saw the other, neither heard the other. And in the end, two children lost everything. Sterline Antoine Joseph deserves to be remembered beyond this tragedy. She was not perfect, but she was a mother, a wife, a provider, a fighter. She built a legacy. She carried a family, and she deserved better than to be destroyed by her own. What resources do you think could have helped this family? Share constructive ideas below. Thank you for watching. If this case highlights anything, it's that family violence can hide behind cultural expectations. Share your thoughts on how we can better protect vulnerable family members.